We are going to be starting on all fours. I'm just going to adjust my camera as well. Bring you down with me so you can see on the mat. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to be on all fours and we're going to talk about cat and cow. Now, I want you to really favor the cow position. And what I mean by that is let's kind of talk about it. So I've got my wrists underneath my shoulders. I've got my knees underneath my hips. You want to think of your spine being in a really lovely long line. And you want to think of zipping your abdominals or kind of lifting your abdominals up. So we've got this support. Now, cow stretch, you're going to drop your belly button to the mat, tilt your tailbone to the sky, and look to the front of the room. So this is taking our spine into extension. And then we're going to come back to that nice flat back. So we're just going to do a few of these to start. So I tilt my pelvis forward. I lift, or I think of pulling my chest through my arms and lift my head. And then I come back to that nice neutral. So all the time we're lifting, we're opening the chest, and then we're relaxing and coming back. Yeah. And I want you to do a few of these. And the reason that I want you to favor these kinds of position, extension position, is because we spend a lot of our life in forward flexion. So when our head is bowed forward, when we sit, when we drive, when we're scrolling on our phone. And in an exercise environment, we want to favor this position. Now, that is not to say that you can't do cat pose, but if you do cat pose, I want you to think of it coming from your abdominals, yes? So I want you to think of dropping your tailbone down towards the mat, and I want you to think of just pulling your belly button up, and I like to call it like kitten pose, because I'm not rounding my back and pushing as hard as I can. I'm scooping my abdominals up and I'm creating that curve right from my belly button. And then I want you to tilt the pelvis forward and come straight back into cow. So we do kitten and cow. Now, if you think of it coming from the abdominals, you pull the abdominals in and gently tuck the bottom under. You still get this nice stretch through the lumbar, but we're not forcing ourselves into that deep C curve, right? Into that forward flexion position that we want to be mindful of. So it's a tiny little adjustment, but it's just a nice way. So instead of pushing into our upper thoracic and creating a C curve, it comes from our pelvis and our belly button, and then big cat stretch. So you're going to finish your last one here. We're going to come back to that nice neutral spine, and you're just going to give me some little head rolls. So you're just very gently going to circle the head around about 3 times in each direction. And the aim is that you want to push the mat away so you're strong and supported through the shoulders, and you're just getting a bit of work into that neck. Okay, it doesn't matter how big you make it, it's really about what feels good for your neck. We're going to finish with that head to center, and then we're going to go into a lat stretch. So you're going to take your right hand, you're going to slide your right hand along the floor in front of you. So I drop my chest down towards the mat, keep my hips high, my other elbow naturally bends. And the further that I reach and the more I press my chest towards the floor, the bigger stretch I'm going to get through that side, and then come all the way back up to all fours, and then we go on the other side. So you want to slide your left hand away from you, hips high, drop the chest towards the floor, and this should give you this nice big stretch all down that side. And we're just going to alternate from side to side. So just at your own pace, switching when you feel you need to, right? You might find you want to spend a bit longer on one side than the other. But this is a really great way for us to lengthen the sides of the body whilst staying in a beautiful alignment, and also focusing on that length. We're always trying to find that bit of length, that bit of extension, okay? So you're going to finish your last one off on each side, enjoying that stretch. Really press the chest down towards the floor so we get this lovely release, and then we're going to come back to that all fours position. So from there, we're going to go into bird dog. So you're going to keep the arm and leg on the floor, and I want you to slide your right arm forward and your left leg behind you. Now, I'm keeping my foot on the floor the whole time and come back. And I just want you to do a couple of these alternating from side to side. Now, there's no rush. We are going to take the arm and leg off the mat. But what I want you to focus on is think about your center. So quite often in these moves, people describe it as stretching really far away, but I don't want you. I want you to pull everything up into your center, your abdominals, and I want the arm and leg to just be free to move. Now, this is important because we're always trying to find this connection with our core, right? So that we get that support from the spine, so that we've got this nice kind of protection almost around our center as we move around, right? Help to reduce our fracture risk, help to keep our spines nice and fortified. Now, on your next one, we're going to lift opposite arm and opposite leg off the mat, aiming to have this lovely long line from fingertip down through the spine, lowering the arm and leg, and then changing. So the way we know we've got a really strong core is that when we change sides, that exchange of weight is really soft, yeah? We're not switching, and we've got a really strong center. The arms and legs just float up, slow down, right? Exactly. Good, guys. Everyone's going to give me 4 more here. Arms float up and leg and down. Nice and gentle. So there's no stress. There is no tension. And then once you have finished your last one, make sure that you're nice and even. We're going to come back to that all fours position. Now from there, I want you to stretch your left leg along the mat. And then I want you to turn your whole body to face the front of the room and stretch your left arm overhead. Good. Now the aim is that we want to keep that spine in a lovely, it moves in one piece. Good. We're then going to come back to all fours and we're going to go on the other side. So I'm going to stretch my right leg along the mat. I'm going to turn my body in one piece to face the right side of the room. We get this lovely stretch through the fingertips and then we come back. So I just want you to alternate from side to side. So left arm stretches and you turn to the left side of the body. That's it. So getting this lovely length, coming back to all fours and then stretching, having a smooth transition, loading the wrists, finding length and space in the body is all the things we're aiming for. Good, really nice, guys. We're going to finish off our last one on our right-hand side. And then we're going to come all the way back to center. And you can just sit back onto those heels. Stretch the hands forward, take the pressure off the wrists. Now, same with child's pose. Child's pose does create a little bit of forward flexion and rounding in the spine, and that is perfectly okay. It's quite a low load movement. But if an alternative is to keep the hips up and press the chest down. So that's a way that you can just keep that spine in alignment. So from there, we're going to come and sit down lie onto our side, and then we're going to roll onto our backs for a little bit of work into that core, or a little bit more work, I should say. So let's start with some pelvic curls. We're going to do 5 basic pelvic curls. I would like for you to press the hips up into the air in one clean motion. And then I would like for you to roll down through the spine. The aim is that we scoop the abdominals and we slowly press each vertebra into the mat. So we press the hips up as high as we feel comfortable in one clean motion. And then we gently articulate on the way down. Thinking of creating that lovely length and flexibility through the back. Hips up, roll the chest into the mat. Finding that nice release through that back. We've got 2 more here. Pressing up, and this is about length in the front of the body and then articulation, right? With osteoporosis, we're not limited in our movement, but we have to be mindful of movement, right? And spinal mobility is still important. We still need to move the spine in all directions. So this is a really great way, it's low load, that we can incorporate that mobility. So once you've finished your last one here, we are then going to float our legs to tabletop position. So when our legs are in tabletop position, our tailbone is heavy, our lower back is soft. So we're not pressing our back into the mat. You can just feel a tiny, tiny, tiny little space underneath. And then we're going to pull our abdominals in as if we're kind of wearing a little invisible corset. You're going to tap your right foot down towards the mat, and then you're going to change the legs in midair. So the aim is that the knee joint, we're not bending from the knee, we're flexing from the hip. So I'm reaching my thigh bone away, pulling my thigh bone back in. Now, if at any point you feel like the back is arching and you're getting this big gap, like you could drive a car underneath it, then that is your cue to pull your pubic bone towards your belly button and only take the legs as far as you can maintain that nice natural position that we had when we set up, okay? Now, if this feels easy peasy, lemon squeezy, we are going to make it slightly harder. So I would like for you to take those legs to tabletop, so both of them are there. You're going to take your hands onto the front of your thigh bones, and I want you to just gently push hands into thighs, thighs into hands. We can feel this deep abdominal connection. From there, keeping that lovely abdominal connection, I want you to stretch your right arm and your right leg away, so kind of like a little dead bug, and then you're going to bring your right arm and your right leg back in, and then we're going to alternate sides. So there is always a little bit of connection between the hand and the knee to help remind us of those strong abdominals. We've got no arching or gapping underneath the back, okay? Tailbone is heavy, abdominals are strong. And you're just very gently alternating from side to side. That's it. Important thing with Pilates breath is to just breathe. Don't worry about whether you should be breathing in or out. Just keep the breath going. What we don't want to do is hold on to it and cause any extra abdominal pressure. We want to breathe out when we can, breathe in when we can. I want everyone to finish their last repetition on their left. A lot of work for that core. And then you're going to grab hold of the knees and just pull them in towards you. You give them a little circle and a little hug. Really, really nice. So from there, we're going to put our feet back onto the mat, and we're going to do a little bit more work into the glutes and the hamstrings. So this time we're going into a bridge. Nice and simple. The hips come straight up, the hips come straight down. So there's no articulation. Good focal point is to think tailbone up, tailbone down. My spine stays in that long line. We're going to do 8 more here. We go 8 and up, 7 and lift, 6. Good. Making sure you've got this long line at the top. 4 more reps here. 4. Squeeze the bum as you go. And 3. Hips high. 2. Last one, we're going to hold those hips in the air. Now really make sure you're zipping up from your pubic bone to your belly button. You're going to lower the hips halfway down, all the way back up. And we're going to do 7 more of those. Halfway down, all the way up. And we go 6 and up, 5 and press, 4 and lift, 3. As high as we can, halfway down, all the way up. Last one here. And up, hold it here, squeeze that bum, and then roll back down and just relax. And if you need to hug those knees into the chest, then you can. So, little bit of extra work on the glutes. Now let's focus on our hamstrings, so the back of the thigh. Okay, really important for supporting the pelvis, glutes and hamstrings. This time I would like for you to lift your hips into the air for me, and I want you to press your arms down into the floor. So that's what helps support you. I want you to step your right heel forward, so you kind of walk on your heel, step your left foot forward. So we had to move our legs away from our bum. We're going to do it one more time. Step your right heel forward, hips stay nice and high, left heel forward, and then see if you can come back. So we come in right foot, left foot, step in right foot, left foot, lower the toes, lower the hips, little tiny breather, yeah? Now, the further those legs go away, the harder it is. So utilize this all as you go. So let's go again all together. Press the arms down, lift the hips up. Now try and keep the hips as still as you can as you step your right heel forward. Step on that heel. Step on that left heel. Step on that right heel. Step on that left heel, walking, walking back. So we're doing 4 steps forward, 4 steps back, and then lower the toes, lower the heels. We're going to do 2 more sets. I'm going to come and have a good look. Hips go into the air. Good. We keep the hips high. We step right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot forward, left foot forward. Good. Right foot back, left foot back, right foot back, left foot back. Lower those hips back down. 1 more set, guys. Nice work. Hips are high. Right foot forward, left foot forward, right foot forward, left foot forward. Good. Right foot back, left foot back. I feel like I'm doing cha-cha slide. Right foot back, left foot back. Lower those feet down and hug those knees into the chest. Very nicely done. Another way you can challenge those hamstrings is by doing straight leg lifts. So you can put your leg on a chair or on a box, something that's not too high. Nice straight legs, and you lift the hips up and down. Really dominant hamstring exercise. But we are done with our hamstrings and we are coming back to that core work. So from there, we're going to go into a single leg stretch. So you're going to come and draw the knees back to that tabletop position. And our hands go onto the front of our thigh for that little abdominal connection. Not enough that we feel like we're hurting ourselves, just enough that we can feel those abdominals switch on, that corset kind of wrap around. From there, you're going to hug your right knee in towards your chest, and you're going to stretch your left leg out to about 45 degrees. Now, the lower the leg, the harder the exercise. If you feel that your lower back is tilting, you can lift your leg higher. From there, we're going to switch those legs over for 10, changing 9, switching 8, pull it to the chest, 7, and 6, and 5, strong abdominals, 4, and 3, last 2, and 1. Pull both those knees into the chest, relax. Now, as we're doing abdominal work, I said you can always have a little cushion with you. And that's always really handy, because when we are doing abdominal work, if you put your head on a little cushion, it can take a little bit of tension out your neck. So that's a really good little modification. So from there, we're going from our single leg stretch to our double leg stretch. So you're going to have those legs in tabletop position. You're going to place the hands on the front of the thigh. Gentle pressure. Now from there, I'm going to scoop my abdominals in. I'm going to stretch my arms overhead and my legs to 45 degrees or lower, depending on how much you can maintain your back. You're going to circle the arms around and then bend the knees. And we're back to our start position. Pressure into the thighs, strong abdominals as we stretch the arms and legs away. Circle the arms and legs in. Press the hands to the thighs to reconnect. 3 more here. Arms and legs shoot away. Circle the arms around. Pull the knees into the chest. Gentle pressure. You're going to give me 2 more. Now, if that doesn't feel good, you can always keep one leg on the floor and do it with a solo leg as well. Right? So if you don't feel like you can maintain your back position, if you feel like the back is arching and the abdominal strength isn't there yet, then you can always keep one hand on the floor. Last rep, everybody. Arms and legs stretch. Circle them around. Pull those knees into the chest. And then this time we can just relax and release. You can just gently rock the knees from side to side. We are nearly there. We've got 2 more abdominal exercises to go. So from there, I would love for you guys to stretch those legs up towards the ceiling. Now, ideally, we want to have straight legs, but if the back of your leg feels very, very tight, you can bend the knees, okay, to release some tension. But it is important that that tailbone is strong. From there, I want you to see if you can press your right leg down towards the mat. Only take it as far as you can, keep that pelvis nice and still, and then bring that right leg back up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to go left leg down and up. Now, the aim is that we have it really slow. Yeah? The bigger the movement is, the more challenge there is through that core. So depending on where you are with your strength, where you are with your level, will depend on how big or how low you can take the leg. Okay? But this is designed to really challenge that core stability. So I'm not letting my back arch or my pelvis tilt. I'm really connecting what's happening with our center. And this is really important because it's going to help carry us through daily life. You're going to finish your last one on each side, lower and lift. Keep that breath going. Use the arms, press them into the mat, lower and lift. And then you can hug those knees into the chest. Very nice, guys. So we've got one final exercise here, and it is a combination of what we've just done. So we're going to stretch both of our legs up towards the ceiling, and now we're going to do an exercise called scissors. So you're going to grab hold of your right knee. Now, if you have to have a little bend in your right knee, you can, but try and stretch it as much. You're then going to lower your left leg down towards the mat. Now you're going to pull that leg towards you, and then you're going to switch them over. So I'm going to switch my legs midair and catch my left leg. Switch and catch. Now, if you can't quite reach the leg, doesn't matter. I want you to try and find that nice switching motion whilst keeping those abdominals strong. If it doesn't feel good, you can always put the leg down and lift and lower. So it's a really good variation. You'll do 4 on each leg, yeah? If you're doing those splits, we're going to do 4 and 3 and 2. Last one. We're going to hug those knees into the chest. We're then going to put the feet and knees together and place them on the floor. You're going to take your hands to a low V. You're just gently going to take the knees over to the right, keeping the opposite shoulder blade on the mat. And then you're going to exhale, come back through center, over to the left. Knees go to the left, head turns to the right. And then exhale, come back through center. So we're just going to do a couple of these really gentle hip rolls, maintaining control through the movement. So don't just let those knees drop. Don't let the shoulders come away from the mat. Use that center to control. So we're not twisting that body into those extreme positions. Everyone is going to give me one more on each side. Beautiful. And then we're going to roll onto our side. Good. And we're going to come up to a high kneeling position facing the front. So if it's not comfortable to be on your knees, you can always use a little pad, or you can just do this lying on your side. So you've got 2 options there. This one is a challenging position, but I want you guys to give it a go. So you're going to place your right hand onto the mat and you're going to step your left foot up. So it's that same position that we did at the beginning of class. Yes. Now, the important thing about this position is that you press your hips forward. Okay. Hand can go on your hip or it can go behind your head. And we're going to lift and lower our top leg. Yeah. Now, what will want to happen is the rest of the body will move. Now, if this is not comfortable, if you are comfortable, I want you to give me 10 of these lift and lowers. If it's not comfortable on your knees, you're going to lie completely on your side with your underneath leg bent, and you're going to lift and lower your leg this way. So there's always an option and a modification, and not to worry, right? This is a little bit lower load. It's not as challenging for your center or your shoulder, but we're still working the same muscles. Okay, everybody aim to have their hips, their knees, and their feet pointing to the front of the room. Everyone's going to finish their last one with their leg in the air. They're going to hold it there and give me 5 circles forward. We go 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, reversing 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Everyone lower that down. If you're on your knees, you're going to bring your knees together. And we're just going to gently stretch to the side. Now, if you were lying on your side, you're going to roll over to the other side, and we're going to do it again on the other, in the other direction. So for my guys who are on their knees, let's get set up on the other side. Left hand will be down, right foot will be straight, and you must press your hips forward. Now this time I want you to take your hand behind your head if you can, press the head into the hands. That keeps the length in the spine. We're going to lift and lower that top leg. Now if you're lying on the mat doing the same exercise, I want you to think of keeping your hips and your shoulders stacked. Little lift in your side waist. Try to keep everything parallel to the front. Everyone's going to give me 5 more. Not easy, huh? 5. This is tough. 4. The modifications there if you need it. 3, 2, final 1. We're going to hold that leg there. Everyone's going to give me 5 circles. This circle comes from your thigh bone, not from your foot, not from your knee, from your thigh. Hips stay really still. Press the head into the hands. Reverse those circles. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Bend the knee, place it down, stretch over towards the left if you were here. If you're doing your side lying position, you're going to make your way up to standing. If you were doing kneeling, just take an extra second in your stretch. And then we're all going to make our way up to standing, and we're going to finish with a tiny little bit of balance. Very well done, guys. We've done some quite hardcore stuff here today. So if you think, oh my God, this felt really difficult, then don't worry, because we will do it again. And if you were like, oh my God, this was really easy, then you need to tell me, because I'm going to make it harder. And that's the deal, right? As soon as it gets easy, we challenge ourselves. So take your time getting up, guys. Okay? Let us finish in our little Pilates V. So you're going to have your heels together and your toes apart, and you imagine you've got that 50-pound note between your butt cheeks, and you're going to squeeze it there. This helps to keep this, or find this connection in the pelvis, in the outer thighs. You're going to take your hands behind your head, and you're going to press your head into your hands, and I want you to physically lift your head up out of your neck and shoulders. Grow 3 inches. Rise up onto those tiptoes, hold that balance, and then slowly press the heels down, but keep elongating, keep lengthening. It's what we're always trying to achieve with osteoporosis, right? 2 more. We want to find length in the body, elongation, and lift, and lower. Beautiful. We've got 1 more here. We rise up and we hold. We then stretch those hands all the way up to the ceiling. We then press down our hands, our shoulders, and our heels. We take a final deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you guys are all done. Very well done, ladies.